Let's talk shooting gloves. The question to wear them or not. A lot of times you'll see people at the range wearing shooting gloves. A lot of times it's just an attempt to look tactical. They've got their gloves, they've got their multicam, and I'm guilty of this to some extent. Just looking cool and looking like you've got all the gear, you've got all the stuff. There are a lot of people who do it purely for that reason. But there actually is a very practical reason to wear shooting gloves. And really, it's the same reason you would wear any gloves. It's to protect your hands. To protect just all your joints. Just it's so easy to bang your knuckles against things. It's the same reason why construction workers or mechanics wear gloves. Now, sometimes I'll wear gloves at the range, sometimes not. If I'm shooting a lot of modern handguns, like this here is a Smith & Wesson M&P 40 full size, I will default to using gloves because that's how I will use a gun in the field a lot of times, so I like to train the same way I would use it. And with gloves or without gloves, it's equally comfortable to go ahead and shoot. And so I like to use it just to protect my hands. And it also can give you a little bit better grip on the weapon. Not necessarily, but if your hands are sweaty, which frequently we're out here shooting in the heat, or if you're in the mud or there's blood or anything that's all over your hands, it will help protect your grip and ensure a slightly better grip. So that's a valuable reason to wear shooting gloves. Also, when I'm hunting or whether I'm doing any run and gun stuff or just hiking, adventuring, I tend to wear gloves just because there's a whole lot of juniper, mesquite, real rough stuff that a lot of times you're having to push through in between shooting. And I don't want to be getting that stuff all over my hands. I feel like it would be pretty stupid of me actually if I'm out there shooting and I let my hand get hit by a mesquite thorn and put myself out of commission because of something that simple. So essentially just wear it to protect your hands. Now there are a lot of guns like this. I've done other videos on this gun. This is a Colt 1851 Navy black powder revolver. If you're wondering why I would have a black powder revolver, go check out some of my other videos. This would make a lot of sense to wear shooting gloves while using because this thing is dirty. I mean, I need to clean this. I just got back from the range. There's literally soot caked on here. Black powder guns they put out a lot of smoke, a lot of soot, a lot of gunk. And typically I would like to wear gloves while shooting this, but I don't just because check out how small that trigger guard is. This is where I would actually say it's more safe not to wear gloves. When putting your finger in the trigger guard, yes, it's unloaded, there are no caps on there. When you can barely fit your finger in the trigger guard with a glove on, and the only difference is just a slight squeeze, you shouldn't be wearing gloves. That's a safety issue. If it's difficult to pull your finger in and out of the trigger guard, you shouldn't be wearing gloves. Really, when you're looking at options that are all over the board, a lot of people are confused and just want to know, hey, what do I need? What do you recommend? There are brands from, you can buy Oakley shooting gloves, you can buy all kinds of tactical shooting gloves. I believe Condor makes some, all kinds of stuff. A lot of people use mechanix gloves. That's mechanix with an X. It's a popular brand, but essentially all you need is a glove that gives you a very good grip on the inside, a glove that is very flexible. A lot of just regular work gloves really constrict your movement, and that's not something you want because you obviously still need to be able to make sensitive movements. So something that's very flexible, gives you a good grip, and preferably pretty soft and pretty thin. Now these are just, what's the brand on these? Wells Lamont. Nothing super fancy. I believe I picked these up at Home Depot for probably 10 bucks. And these have been my go-to shooting gloves for a long time. You can see that they are very well worn. I use these when I'm out in the brush, when I'm hunting and I'm pushing through all the crap and weeds and sticks and thorns. I use these when I'm at the range, and you can see pretty much all the burnt powder caked on there. But I like them because your knuckles are protected with leather. You have a good grip on the inside, with the leather, but the whole back is made of basically that's a neoprene strip right there that would go across your knuckles. But everything else is almost like a nylon spandex weave, so it's very thin and very flexible. So you don't need to go out and spend $100 on fancy shooting gloves. You don't need to buy the cool name brand, whatever. Now, if you want to, sure. If you want all your gear to match the same camo pattern, sure. But something as simple as this would work really well. Or like I said, mechanix gloves are also very popular for shooting gloves. So I hope that helps answer just kind of some general questions as to when you would wear shooting gloves and when you would not.